Welcome back to the Express in downtown Vancouver. Now, the last thing most kids want to think about over the Christmas holidays, being in the classroom. Although there is one way to get them excited, and it starts with a visit from the SPCA.
Come on, Mill. Want to pat her?
At Chief Maquinna Elementary School, a very lucky classroom received a very special visit from Millie, who came in with her owner Naomi, a volunteer from the SPCA.
A lot of children live in situations where there isn't time or the environment to have a pet, and they don't know how wonderful it is to pat a dog, or just how soft they can feel and how just wonderful it is to be with an animal. A lot of children don't have that anymore.
The students got to meet Millie and pet her, but this gentle dog was also here to help Naomi deliver an important message about animal cruelty.
The presentation I did today was called You Can Make a Difference, and it is for the older grades 5, 6, and 7. What I want to get across to the kids through this program is that the animals are not disposable. They have feelings, and we cannot allow animals to continue to be abused and neglected.
Naomi used pictures and real-life stories about animals that the SPCA has rescued.
This was a chain that was actually removed from a dog, and the dog had been dragging this thing around for we don't know how long enough that it had rust marks all around its neck. And this is so heavy, I can't believe it. So I managed to get the chain, and so when I come into the classrooms to talk about people tying up dogs and that, I use this as an example of cruelty.
And the message was definitely received.
We learned that many people all around the world treat animals like they're not important at all. And I think that animals should be treated like the same as humans because we're all living things.
Well, I learned that no animal should be treated unfairly, that animals are just like us, they have feelings, and they're great.
When kids learn about compassion and empathy towards animals, it naturally emanates towards other people, to little kids, to parents, to friends, and realizing what's okay and what's not okay, and how to treat people and what to be aware of, and when to stand up and say that's not right.
I think the presentation was really inspiring because it shows that everyone can make a difference in an animal's life.
I don't really always get to see dogs because I don't have a dog at home, and she's really fluffy actually, and it was really a great experience. I think she's a great dog.
In Vancouver, I'm Kendall Harris for the Express.
If you know a classroom that might like a visit from the BC SPCA, or you'd like to volunteer with the program, you can get details online at spca.bc.ca. Now, this is definitely the time of year when many people find ways to give back. And that's exactly what some Surrey High School students are doing on Vancouver's Downtown Eastside.
Merry Christmas. Today's students gave up their Saturday to give back to those less fortunate in the Downtown Eastside.
Christmas on Hastings is an event for Teens Eating the Planet, and we come down. This is our 5th year doing it, and we come down and we hand out warm clothing, like scarves, mittens, toques, and we give it to the less fortunate down here so they can have a better holiday.
Merry Christmas.
It started off really small. It was just like 5 or 6 of us coming down, and we had Christmas cards, and that was pretty much it. We just wrote Christmas cards and we're going around handing them out, and to see now 5 years later how big it's gotten, and like that it's still meaning a lot to people, and it's getting bigger and bigger each year, so it's really nice to see.
Teens Eating the Planet provided some teens their first opportunity to experience life on the streets.
Well, this morning I was a little nervous coming, and then when I got here I realized like everyone here is so friendly, and the way that they like smile at you from like I gave them a hat, and one of the ladies told me that you have no idea how much this means to me, and it was just like that simple.
Going into it, I was for sure like pretty nervous and like didn't know what to expect out of any of it, but definitely going away from all of it, like all the people are so nice, and everyone's just like really thankful that you're here, and you come away with a different perspective on life, really.
Generosity not only came from the students, but from the residents as well.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody. God bless.
When you're giving them just like simple things like socks and hats and just homemade Christmas cards. They're so happy and everything, and it really like shows you that they're just like us. They're like people too, and they just want to have like good holidays just like all of us.
Today I had no idea what to expect. I came and I thought maybe just a couple people would come, but we were literally swarmed with people. And it just to know how many people out there are just like, they need this stuff. It just made me feel so good about handing out toques and just like simple socks and even like a scarf or something. It was just an amazing experience. I can't wait for next year.
An unsung hero was also responsible for the success of today's event.
Last year I came home and told my family about the event, and my grandma that evening started knitting toques, and up until yesterday she gave us the whole box, and there's 400 of them that she'd done like at least one a day. And yeah, I just would like to thank my grandma. She did so much, and I'm just thankful for it, all that she contributed to today, because I think it made it a huge success.
It's nice to have the community come together for something positive, for a change in a very negative part of town.
Today I learned that you don't have to give a lot to make a big difference. This is Abby signing up for Gen Y on the Express. Merry Christmas!
Gen Y is brought to you by Options, Surrey Community Services Society. Gen Y is a Shaw TV Access segment. All the youth reporters are volunteers that have an interest in broadcasting and in the local community. And that's what we're all about on the Express, community. We've got some fun stories coming up.
VAN.
Up next,
It is the longest last name in the WHL.
the Giants report.
Not exactly the easiest to fit on the back of a jersey.
AN. We can train them to talk, and we can teach them to, come when we call them and do all kinds of stuff.
Critter Care. The Express. This is your local voice.
Community programming on Shaw has been generously sponsored in part by
Hairstyling and color services for Shaw TV, provided by the Lounge Hair Studio. LoungeHairStudio.com.
Welcome back to the Express in downtown Vancouver. I'm Johanna Ward. You know, 'tis the season to be grateful, and I know how lucky I have it. I love hosting the Express, and I have it pretty easy. But for play-by-play announcers throughout the Western Hockey League, there's a name on the Vancouver Giants roster that sometimes leaves them wishing they'd chose a different profession.
The Giants Report has been brought to you by Sprott Shaw Community College.
Back to the point. And Nieuwenhausen, the shot off the post. Callahan some lefts on Van Nieuwenhausen.
Wes Van Nieuwenhausen has made a name for himself this season with the Vancouver Giants. A solid stay-at-home defenseman, he has proven to be one of the toughest customers in the entire Western Hockey League. Nearly as tough as getting a teammate to spell his last name.
All right.
VANIEZ.
VN.
I quit. Can I quit now?
VANI. There's an H, and there's like UI.
And a Z maybe?
ZEN or something like that.
VANIEUWENHUIZ.
See, that's what you get when you get this Classic Player of the Month. Dutch in origin, Van Nieuwenhausen is 16 letters long. Musiel, Henry, and Siegel combined aren't even 16 letters. In fact, it is the longest last name in the WHL. Not exactly the easiest to fit on the back of a jersey.
We put it on with the original font, and it literally went elbow to elbow with the 16 letters. But this year, when we knew he was coming and going to be part of the team, we downsized the font to about 2/3, and it still goes shoulder to shoulder, but it fits a little bit better than it did in the past when we called him up and I had to get a name bar together for him.
Growing up, I was taught to be proud of my name, so having the whole name on there is great. Thank Granny for doing that. So,
as for getting Van Nieuwenhausen's attention on the ice, Thank goodness for nicknames.
Wesley Snipes a lot. For short, yeah.
They're called Wes or Vandy or number 5. Get out there.
We call him Alphabet.
The best nickname he has is Killer. Vandy. Vandy or Killer, one of the two. I don't know. I asked him how old he was when he learned to spell that, and I mean, I think I would have probably, by the time I learned to spell my last name, if that was it, I'd probably be about 16. So he said he was 10. I don't know if he's lying or not.
The Giants Report was brought to you by Sprott Shaw Community College.
The Vancouver Giants' next home game is December 27th versus Kamloops, and that night they'll hold their second Giant Alumni Night, where the first 500 fans on hand will get a very special bobblehead doll. Now on the Express, we go from bobbleheads to birds with budgies on Critter Care.
Petland's Critter Care is brought to you in part by Nutrients Pet Foods, online at nutrients.com.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Critter Care. Robert's got a couple buddies with him today. Budgies. I said, well, they're buddies and they're budgies. It was my play on words. So you're going to talk to us a little bit about how to train your budgies. And what do you mean by training them?
Well, actually, we're going to tame them. Because a lot of times when people bring home budgies, they're not tame yet. They won't come up on your hand. And budgies are very friendly and they're very smart and they live for a long, long time. So we want to make sure that we can get them into our home, keep them for a while, and then tame them so that they'll come up on our hand, step up onto our finger, and then we can train them, to be more like pets. We can train them to talk, and we can teach them to, come when we call them and do all kinds of stuff. But the important things to remember when you're trying to train or tame your little budgie, we want to have their wings clipped, okay, so that they can't fly. So you can bring them in and have somebody clip their wings for you. Their feathers will grow back, and you can let your budgie fly around the house as long as he's not going to fly into a window or a mirror. The biggest problem people have is getting him away from the cage, because you reach into the cage and they flap around, and that's their home. We don't want to scare them. Yeah. So basically, you just take out the food, take out the water and some of the toys, take the bottom off the cage, flip it over, and they'll come out the top, and then we're going to take them into a corner where we can shush them away from the cage, move the cage away, because they always want to get back to their cage. That's their home, so they can't see their cage, and then we're just going to gradually work with them in the corner, lift them up, and then we're going to do the little ladder exercise with them, and we're going to do that for 3 or 4 days, and by then they'll be perfectly tamed. These guys I started working with about an hour ago, and they're great.
But I always like to say, when training any animal, have patience. I know that a lot of people want things instantaneously.
Yes.
But
and you know what happens? A lot of our birds now are hand-fed babies. They're very, very tame already. Budgies typically aren't, but they will make fantastic little pets for you.
Awesome.
All kinds of things. So great pets.
Well, thanks so much for the advice, Robert. And of course, if you are considering getting a budgie or any pet, it's always important to do your research first. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Critter Care.
Petland's Critter Care is brought to you in part by Nutrients Pet Foods, online at nutrients.com. Pets play an important role in our lives. Companionship, health, well-being, love. PJAC Canada, helping our industry care for your pets. Critter Care is brought to you by PJAC.
You're watching The Express, and that's just about it for today's show. But before we go, we've got your spotlight on local events. Planning your special day? Well, you can get inspiration at the Wedding Planning Event of the Year. Get a fresh look on tap for 2011, see a bridal fashion show, and have your chance to win your dream wedding package. Brian Eno is a visual artist, writer, producer, and best known for his work in music. This evening offers a rare opportunity to see him in person for the first time. Take a ride through the forest on a Christmas train in Bear Creek Park. Your adventure will include the Christmas forest display and Santa's Golden Reindeer Tunnel. As you know, we've been celebrating Christmas and the holidays all month long on The Express. And if you go to vancouver.shawtv.com, you can relive those moments with us. I'm Johanna Ward, and on behalf of all of us on the show, thanks so much for watching. We're going to leave you with the Woodward's Christmas Carol 2010, and we'll see you next time.